It is a tremendous honor for me to share a brief Dvar Torah with my chaverim, the fellow members of the RCA, and I hope that this Dvar Torah will serve as a chizuk for all of us in the important work that we do. In Parshas Ekev, we have, of course, the Perek of Hayoim Shamoat that we read multiple times a day, and in that Perek, every word is so tremendously valuable. The Pasuk tells us, "V'samtem es dvarai ele alavavchem." The HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us to take the mitzvos and to place them on our heart. Now that's, of course, figurative. To place it in our soul. But then the Pasuk ends up and says, physically, we have to make sure we're tefillin shel yad and tefillin shel rosh. And then the Pasuk continues. The next Pasuk continues. That we should teach our children, create a legacy. Have our children also keep the mitzvos, to speak the words of Torah. When? And where? Whether they're sitting at home, or they're out on the road, when they lay down, when they get up. And the Ksav Sofer asks, why the arichus? Why do we need to get in such detail as to, okay, if we're supposed to teach our children to speak words of Torah, then just teach our children to speak words of Torah. Why do we need to know where specifically? Oh, you have to teach your children when you're home, when you're out on the road, when they get up, when they fall asleep. He senses that there's more to this. And he explains so beautifully, and I think this is very pertinent to all of us. He says that the chiyuv, the obligation that we have to teach our children is such that we are to make sure that Torah is molded into their soul. That Torah and connection to mitzvos is not something which is simply on the surface, but something which is embedded within them, so that when they come to moments in their lives, when they are in their own homes, when they're off on traveling away somewhere, when we are not present, that they don't feel that it's as if, since their parents are not there, then they don't have this connection to Torah. Their connection to Torah and mitzvos has already been part of who they are, and therefore whether we're present or we're not present, whether it's today or it's 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and we're no longer there living with them, wherever it is that they are, the Torah that we instilled within them is something which is part of them. And the reason why I say I think it is a message that's so pertinent to us as Rabbanim, as Machanchim, as members of the clergy, is that we all live very public lives. And in doing so, our children also live public lives. And in many situations, our children are held to a different standard than other children. And there's expectations that are placed upon them. And so, often, we will think that our children are just doing what they're supposed to be doing as the rabbi's children. And we focus so much of our energy and so much of our devotion, and we try to inspire so many people around us. And yet, we may look at our own children and say, look, they're just right on the right path. And we have to make sure that that's not just from the surface. We have to make sure that it's not just because they're the rabbi's kids that they're appearing to be that way, but that the love, the ahava, the love of Hashem, the love of Torah, the love of mitzvos is something which is embedded deep inside of their soul, so that when we're not present, when we're not there, when they are not the rabbi's kids in the community, they are having the same connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to Torah, and to mitzvos as they do when they are the rabbi's children. I think this is something which is very, very practical, very real, and it's something that we need to be very cognizant of as we continue to inspire our communities, as we continue to live a life of the Klei Kodesh, where we're working on behalf of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we're working for Klal Yisrael. We have to remember that there's nothing that's more important than our own families, and that we can't take for granted how things appear with our families on the surface. We have to really understand what's embedded within the soul of each member of our families, and for this purpose, most notably, the Torah and the mitzvos, the inspiration that we give and we place in the neshamos of our children. Wishing everyone a good week and a good Shabbos. Thank you.